Yeah. Well, yes.
Oh my god, Animator vs. Animation might have just become my absolute favourite web series of all time. Hey guys, it's the Pink King here, and a couple of days ago, Alan Becker just dropped their latest episode in their Animator vs. Animation series. And to simply put, it was so insane and jaw-dropping that I need to talk about it, because I don't know how they managed to do it, or what it is they're feeding these guys, but this series has just ascended to an entirely new level after this episode, and I, quite frankly, am astonished that the series even exists in the way it does. But before I go on a mindless tangent, let's start from the beginning. That being, what is this episode even about? Well, for those of you unaware of Alan Becker and their content, they are a channel who makes a bunch of series like this, and they are one of the most consistently impressive animation channels I have ever seen, with them consistently making high quality animation for over a decade now, with their Animator vs. Animation series being their longest ongoing one and their most iconic one. And with this episode in particular, it's following up on their ongoing storyline where the Chosen One, the Orange Guy, and the Yellow have been captured by the Rocket Corporation, and Green, Blue, and Red are on a mission in order to rescue them, while at the same time, the Hacker, as he's now called, seeks revenge on the ones who've wronged him. But that's all without going into too many spoilers, because honestly, I recommend you guys go check out the episode first, then come back here if you haven't seen it already. It's just that good, and you need to see it for yourself. Go watch it, then come back. But getting back on topic, this episode has really impressed me because of the sheer balls on it. Let's start with the story, because man, despite the simple surface of them being stick figures, Alan and their team here sure know how to tell an emotional story with these simple characters, as in this episode they do not hold anything back. The best way I could describe it would probably be the aftermath of Thanos' snap in Infinity War, where all of our heroes and whatnot have been defeated or beaten or captured, and the tragic villain has now accomplished what it is that they were trying to do, that in this case being seeking revenge on the Animator who tormented him for so long. Just the way they make our heroes feel genuinely outmatched and outgunned for once in comparison to how usually capable they are in the series was honestly a massive shock to the system that worked really well. And I think that impact worked so well because of the fact that they've spent so much time carefully building up who the Hacker was and showing why we as the audience can both be against him, but also we can have sympathy and understand why it is he's doing all this. And when you can do that, that's a sign you're doing something right, writing-wise. The fact that you're able to effectively make the viewer conflicted on what it is they're supposed to be feeling is just phenomenal. And allow me to emphasize, they did all of this without a single word of dialogue. That's right, they managed to tell a highly engaging story with stakes and consequences without ever needing to speak once. That is an insane accomplishment, not only for indie projects like these, but for animation as an art. And to throw in that twist at the end with the Dark Lord's return was just the cherry on top. And while it does seem like it comes out of nowhere, given their track record, I'm more than confident in saying that they're probably saving the Dark Lord's return for a future episode where they'll give more expansion on how it is he got back exactly. Now hold on peeps, do you want to be featured in a video? Just like Dinosaurs with Christopher, Ink Studios, and the epic Diamond Hornet 84? Then listen up, because you need to subscribe right now. I'm on a mission to reach 20,000 subscribers, and we are just so close to reaching that goal, and I need your help in order to get there. So, if you want to help me on my mission and potentially get a shout out, then be sure to subscribe right now and comment down below telling me you subscribed, and who knows? It might just be your name that's the one featured in the very next video. But with that, let's get back into Animator vs. Animation. But yeah, not only was the writing fantastic, but the animation, do I even need to say anything here, impresses once again. because I don't know how they managed to do it, man, but they're able to push out several of these episodes only a few months apart from one another, and they all look amazing. I, for the life of me, cannot understand how they do it. As well, yes, these are simple designs. The way they use them is not simple at all, keeping them on models so well, having each character animated in their own unique ways, plus the fantastic and truly cinematic quality of the camera and how it moves. Quite frankly, everything here visually leaves me speechless. I don't know how they keep doing it, but I die to see how these episodes are not only made, but planned as well. Funny enough, something I pointed out in my last video on Alan Becker that I didn't go into too much detail on was just how well they were able to give each stick figure a personality despite the lack of any facial features or voice acting. They solely rely on body language to express their emotions, and it works really well, especially in this episode. As for those of you who don't understand what it is I'm talking about, think about masked characters in media, often something like superheroes or Power Rangers, how you can never see their faces through the mask or helmet they wear, so they need to get creative in other ways in order to express what it is the character's going through, whether it be how energetic their movements are or by the music they use in the background. This way of making characters is a highly underappreciated and difficult to do art form, as a lot of characters have tried and failed in order to get their emotion across like this. My best example off the top of my head would be someone like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Now, before you crucify me in the comments, look, I love those movies as much as the next webhead, but Tobey's suit really felt limited in terms of being able to express. It's an iconic suit, don't get me wrong, but it's hard to tell what it is he's thinking in comparison to other Spider-Mans. So just keep in mind that this way of showing personality is not an easy thing to do and can be done wrong if it's not properly planned out. And this episode manages to perfectly find a way to make that style work. It's one side to this series that I feel doesn't get talked about nearly enough in comparison to all the other positives that are around when Animator vs. Animation gets brought up. Honestly, the only thing I'd say this episode struggled with was the fact that it kind of felt overstuffed. Usually with this series, they take their time with these episodes and showcase each storyline separately from one another. But here, they really tried their best to cram as much as possible into this one episode. And while it works most of the time, don't get me wrong, I did sort of get the feeling of being overwhelmed at times, and like they needed to get all this stuff out of the way just to get to the parts of the story that they actually want to do. So just know, this isn't a major problem, this isn't a big criticism, just something I noticed after rewatching this episode for a second time, because this is something they should keep in mind more so in the future. Just make sure you balance these heavy storylines effectively. But overall, this episode managed to not only elevate the series, but the channel as a whole, because this is an entirely new level of quality that I simply put did not imagine they would ever be able to reach until they did. And while a lot of people are getting excited recently talking about Glitch's new show coming out this Friday, Knights of Guinevere, and rightfully so, it does look amazing, I just want to quickly shed some light on the brilliant work by Alan Becker here, because this series deserves so much praise, and it sort of feels like, in comparison to other web shows, it doesn't get talked about nearly enough despite the amount of attention that they usually get otherwise. But what do you guys think? Were you as hyped as I was watching this episode, or did you have a different takeaway from it? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed today's video and want to see more content just like this, then be sure to like this video and subscribe. But with that, peeps, it's been the Pink King here, and I will see you all next time.